Jeez.
Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op.
Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show, the greatest and only video game and beer podcast in the world. I'm Ian. I got Nick, Dave, myself, Aaron, and JPK. It's weird how everything shifts when someone's missing. Oh, who's missing? Jared's missing because he's being a little bitch.
Oh.
He says he'll pop on around 10. So whatever we do with the beer review, he can still review the beer just later. So we'll obviously do the beer review, and then we'll have to tack on his thumb.
Mhm.
Well, like tack it at some point. Anyway, you can find us on all social media platforms at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word.
No hyphen.
Yeah, you can find our podcast on all major platforms. If you want to watch us, you can head over to Spotify or youtube.com/MilkmanPictures. Lastly, we stream our show live every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, like we are right now on twitch.tv/thecouchcoop show. If you ever wanted to hang out with us and talk shit, leave awful comments, tell one of us that are got boogers hanging over our nose, that's how you do it. Twitch.tv/thecouchcoop show. Tonight we are talking about, what are we talking about tonight? We're just to shoot some shit, and then we're going to talk about difficulty settings.
Oh man,
Yeah, we're gonna do a great debate about difficulty settings. But first, Dave, what beer are you not drinking tonight?
The beer I'm not drinking tonight is Hopworks Abominable Winter Ale. So
Yes, this was
very-
Dave's
very
pick,
Good graphics on the can.
but Dave has decided to
Was
get
a
a health
favourite of
kick,
mine.
so
Yep.
he's on the wagon. John couldn't find it, but John's had it before. John, what would you say? You said you've had it, but you like it.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Jared says he might join us later, so we might get some opinions from Jared. But for now, the rest of us, let's crack into it.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
All right.
LaCroix coconut water.
Coconut.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's exactly as I remember, right?
I've never had it before. I didn't grab my glass. Like Nick's being a good boy. He's like being proper. He's got his mug.
Oh, damn.
I know I forgot something.
I forgot it too, but it's all right, Aaron.
Yeah.
2 wrongs make a right.
The 3 rights make a left, but let's go back to business.
All right. So I just, we're just gonna, while we drink this beer, let's just talk some shit. I mean, I think John wanted to talk about how many games have been sold. So John, tell us about how many video games have been sold.
In general?
Yeah, you were talking about
game in
sales.
particular?
You were talking about sales. Let's talk
Which
about
game in
sales.
particular are you talking about?
I mean, whatever game you want to talk about.
All of them. New Vegas.
So earlier in the week, Ian was asking for some show ideas, and to be cheeky, I texted back Hogwarts Legacy sales because reportedly, I mean,
It's
this was I think,
massive.
maybe last week. It's 12 million sales.
Yeah,
of
That's
the
a lot
game.
of haters, isn't it?
the majority of people hate trans people.
They hate
12
buying.
million. There's 300
12
odd
million,
million just in the
12 million.
US.
Dude, yeah, just hate them. They just like vengeance
And,
with a vengeance. Like,
It may crack $1 billion, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is
I mean,
crazy.
how many games have cracked $1 billion?
you know what? I've lightened up on my whole transphobia thing, on the whole Hogwarts thing. I watched the.
You've become more transphobic.
I watched the Chris Rock thing tonight. his selective
Oh,
outrage.
how was that? What was the deal?
It's
deal
really
with that?
good. It's really good,
Okay.
actually.
So
And
is it a special?
yeah, it
I'm
was
assuming
it was live special
It was
last
broadcast
night,
live last night.
and
on
then I
Saturday.
watched. But I got home tonight and I watched it, and it's like he
Oh.
makes a lot of good points, and so I can't, you know how like you can be like I can like one thing but I can be shitty on and it's really I'm only really being shitty on Harry Potter because I just really don't like Harry Potter, so I'm being
That's fair.
adamantly an asshole.
It's easy.
I mean,
to
I do- it's
dislike it when
easy-
you already dislike it.
I hate Harry Potter, so it's easy for me to hate J.K. Rowling,
That makes sense.
and so like I'm just being a fanboy in that regard.
And the
And I'm not
anti-fanboy.
drunk,
Okay.
and I'm not drunk where I would just go off on a tangent and just be a complete douchebag right now. You know, and like if I was drunk, I'd just be like, blah, 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 fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sober right now, so like, or I'm soberish enough to know that like, hey, this is my opinion. But there are like if you think about it, like Henry Ford was an incredible racist.
Yeah, oh yeah. His idol was what, Hitler or something like that? Or
Oh,
something?
I mean,
can't
but like
remember.
I drove a Ford.
But he also got us a 40-hour work week.
There you go. There's
thought
like
that was
was that a
Roosevelt who
good
got that
thing? I
one.
don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know. That's a good. That's like that's debatable, Nick. I
Well,
don't-
compared to what it was before then.
I'm just saying, like
True.
at a certain point, when J.K. Rowling dies, and then the legacy of that morphs into like not that anymore, that franchise will be cleansed of that problem, and then people will still be fine with it, regardless of whatever happened. So like if you just take her out of the equation, all the people that love that franchise and learned about that franchise shouldn't. That franchise is actually really inclusive. It's just she's the problem. So you just gotta
Right.
kind of.
I think it'll evolve, kind of
Just
like
a
Star
walking
Wars
irony.
has. Like George Lucas is no longer the face of Star Wars,
Yeah,
really.
but
as
George
much.
Lucas wasn't trying to lynch people.
No, he
or...
wasn't problematic, but by the same token, he's
Well-
still not. He's he's not the
maybe a
center of
more-
the franchise anymore.
That's why I was
know.
trying to like do the Henry Ford thing, because Henry Ford was a complete racist, and if Henry Ford was still alive, you know, then I get kind of like, but like at this point, Ford makes good cars. Ford has come a long way to be like inclusive, and you know, it's like a different, like you know,
It's like
Going to be so disappointed.
anyway.
well, it's like Disney, for example. Walt Disney, I believe he was a remarkably anti-Semite, but once he died, they kind of got rid of the problem with
There you go.
being an
Or
inclusive.
the
because
Carl's
the-
Jr.
Also a
founder.
communist, supposedly. I don't know.
Eh,
I don't know. There's a lot
I
of
don't know either.
there's a lot of things that are.
yeah.
Anyway, listening to the Chris Rock thing and just him being very, it just like kind of like made me think about shit, and I was just kind of like, you know, I get it. You can't really be. You either have to like be full on,
Right.
or you can't. I can't just like
It's-
pick. I can't pick one or the other. I either have to be a
Right.
complete activist, or don't activate at all. You know.
Right.
And like Dave just doesn't care. The problem is like I do care about things, so I feel bad, but like
I can't care about everything. That's really what it comes down to. Is in life,
Pick and choose your cares.
you only have 24 hours a day, and everyone has the same 24 hours a day. And if you're an activist about everything that's wrong in the world, you could spend every waking hour like grumbling about something. But what's it going to achieve, really?
That's a good point.
So you got to pick.
I
your
guess that's the
battles.
thing. Unless I'm really gonna activist about it. Like
Yeah.
if I'm really gonna like take a stand and then do something about it, then yes. But I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I got my own
still-
shit. I got my own shit I got to worry about.
Yeah, your
Yes.
stand is you didn't buy the game, but you weren't going to buy the game anyway, and it's like,
Right.
Well, you're
Yeah.
not a Harry Potter fan as well. You know, you didn't go to Universal to go to Harry
Well, I don't
Potter.
think really a lot of us are really. I mean, I don't know.
I've been to Harry Potter Land.
Okay.
I like the books and the
I've-
movies.
I've
but that's
read all
as
the
far as I
books.
went.
I didn't
I
like
didn't
the
read all
book.
the
I didn't
movies-
like
the
the first
movies
book,
is
and
like-
the movies are awful.
The movies is where I didn't really. I've seen most of them, but I have really no interest in the movies. But I enjoyed reading the books when I was a kid.
I mean, all I can think about right now is just like Tony Death is just like like getting so rock hard right now with this. I mean, he's
Yeah.
like just ready to like come a meme all over
I-
the Discord.
He's about to expel the
I follow
West.
J.K. Rowling's Twitter and hang on her every word.
Oh, I bet you do, Dave. I bet you do. I mean, here's the thing. Like,
Well, how do you
like
feel
here?
about?
No, but here's the
so
thing.
She,
No,
she
but
has
here-
a women's shelter now, and she does help other women in the world.
yeah, because
So
she
she's
was
doing
raped or
some
something, and
good.
so she's like so like against men.
I'm not saying that
She's more of
excuses
a-
her actions.
She's more of a hater of men. That's more
Well,
of her
she was in
problem.
an abusive relationship.
Yeah,
If you read the
she's-
story before all this, it's like she did have a pretty rough time of it. So it's not like she's not had the easiest of lives.
But that's what I
And
mean.
she's
Like,
a self-made
became
woman.
she
rich,
hates
but-
men, so she just doesn't trust them. And so, like, the idea of a man becoming a woman, she just doesn't trust it. So she hates that idea. That's her whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So,
Well,
but whatever. I don't give a shit. She's behind her fucking iron curtain, and she lobs her bullshit, and I don't need to buy her franchise. Her franchise is the weak. She likes a Payless Sushors volume whatever the cheapest
Shoe
fucking shoe
source.
craft whatever.
yeah,
That's
Payless
her
isn't gonna
franchise.
last
Like
a
it's like
couple
it's
of years.
like it's like
Anything with
it's like
Payless?
Star Wars Light. Anyway,
Hmm.
It's more like I would
And-
say more Lord of the Rings light.
no,
Well,
because they
maybe-
got these
maybe
little
not.
like sword, little wandy
True, they
things,
do have the wand.
and it's more
And I
contemporary.
think Dave makes a good comparison with George, or was it Ian? To George Lucas comparison, because we've seen that not everything in her Hogwarts universe is gold. She's the Vault of Grimwald or whatever that movie
Yeah,
trilogy
what's that?
that tanked horribly.
And that was
So
before
not-
all this really kind of kicked off. It wasn't
Yeah,
Fantastic
she's not-
Beasts, wasn't it?
Yeah,
or
there you go.
something that's the one.
This
So she
podcast
has
brought
her-
to you by Warner Brothers. Hogwarts
she has her
Legacy.
flaws too as an artist as well.
I like those movies.
Yeah.
Lego Hogwarts.
It's a shame Jared's not here anyway, because he could bring it back to video game news, because he has ordered a PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah, it's supposed to,
Oh,
he's supposed to come by to
Yep.
your place because it's shipping
gets-
to your house.
Yeah, it gets delivered to my house tomorrow.
He bought a base
yeah.
version,
Why'd I
not
go to
with
your house?
not with because there's no tax.
No tax
Oh,
to
that's
Oregon
right.
residents. So if I buy it, then
So here's the crazy thing about PSVR 2. You can only order it through Sony. You can't go to Best Buy or
yeah,
anywhere.
I thought that was really strange.
I
Yeah.
think they just
That
wanted
is
to
odd.
it's like fuck it. I mean, it's gonna be a niche thing. Like the Valve Index is only sold. I think they're just kind of like, fuck it. People are gonna get it. They're gonna
actually
get it.
kinda, yeah, that's kind of smart. They know exactly how much to produce or make
Well,
and ship, and they don't. Have to,
I think
make
if they
deals.
did that with the next PlayStation as well, it would solve a lot of issues because,
Mm-hmm.
like the scalpers,
Yeah.
whereas if you can only buy it from one source, you can buy one PlayStation per address, and that's your lot.
I guess my only issue with it is that I have a credit account with Best Buy, and I would get it if I could get it at Best Buy, but I can't.
Yeah, I know what you
so,
say.
you have like 500 accredited account. And you're
No,
like,
I have a $2,000 credit account with Best Buy, and like it, $500. Like I can just pay $100
Yeah,
every
you can
month.
get,
I don't have
like-
to drop $500 right away. I can just like pay
Yeah.
$100 and then like no financing for like a year, and then it's just like
Yes.
Yeah, you can do the 0% finance for and pay it off. a bit
instead I
more.
have to like actually save $500, and
a la
that's
Jared
ridiculous.
style.
unfortunately I can't because I'm fucking trying to do movie premieres and all this other shit that is like. I mean, it's just breaking the bank. So my VR
Yeah.
experience is not going to happen anytime soon. But I'm very excited for Jared. I mean, he's got No Man's Sky, and they had a free massive update for that. So that's getting the full VR update. So he's gonna have a lot of fun. And then he's hoping to hopefully buy, because my understanding is that Gran Turismo 7 is like the greatest VR experience currently on the system. So I'm
that
really
would be what-
excited to check.
So that's
check
what
that
would
out.
make you buy it. Is
Oh yeah, because
basically
I already
that.
have Gran Turismo 7. So
Yep.
I just need that. You know,
just
Pair it
need
with
the
the
hardware.
PS5, yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah,
Jeez.
I'm excited to hear about when Jared gets it, and I'm sure next week when we'll talk about VR next
Yeah.
week. I'm sure. But
He usually likes showing off his new stuff as well, doesn't he? So I'm sure you'll get
he was
subscribed.
he was showing me his cock all night last night. So
Oh, he got a new one.
and brand new, a little smaller than the last one, but
But
it's
it has
really
attachments.
big around.
It was still pink.
It's like a soup
Freshly-
can, like a Campbell soup can. It's crazy, dude.
I got so it has
Just the way you
attachments.
like it.
Can you attach 4 of them to something? Make a that.
I don't know what. I mean, I
What
don't know.
about the Polygon
Oh,
article?
I put there too either. Okay.
Oh, the AI thing?
Yeah.
I want to save that. I want to save that for its own episode. I feel like that's the
Mhm.
topic that I kind of want to dig into, the whole AI thing. So like, let's talk about
Yeah.
that. But I think that's an interesting thing. But I feel like there's more to like go into that. So I'll
Gosh,
wait
yeah,
on that.
that stuff's a whole ball of string that once you start pulling on it, it'll goes all over the place.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
what do you guys? I mean, since we're not, just kind of, what, you guys been playing anything new?
I beat
Eh.
Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. How did you find that?
I in some areas I think it's better than the 2018 Spider-Man game, and in other areas I think I prefer Spider-Man 2018. I'm not really a fan of his costumes. The only one I kind of really like is the Daft Punk Daft Punk inspired like helmet LED
Oh,
costume
really? I
he
like the one
has.
with the hood.
Yeah.
There's the one with the
And
hood that I
then
think is super cool.
his combat style I like a lot better. The combat animation I like. The enemy variation I didn't really care for, like Roxxon and the Tinkerer's minions. They were just more annoying to fight, I felt like,
I like
compared
how he
to
fights. I don't like the energy attacks.
yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
care
Oh,
about
like
that
his-
shit.
Fire bite
Yeah.
or whatever it's called.
I think the demons and the random thugs, and then in Spider-Man 2018, and then Sable. I think that they were more fun to fight and had better variety than the Underground and Roxxon in Miles Morales. And for whatever reason, when Miles wasn't in costume, his voice fit his character. But then there's just a disconnect. As soon as he put on the Spider-Man costume and I heard his voice, I just didn't like it. And maybe it's because I just find it kind of hard to believe a teenager. I mean, granted he has superhero abilities, but it's just kind of hard for me to bond with a high school student, being a man in his mid 30s.
Tell that to Tom Holland.
Anyone else play anything?
Oh, I restarted the Mass Effect trilogy actually.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
I'm OG starting on the first one just to even flying. I barely got him. I started off as a girl, I want to say I'm a Vanguard again. I really enjoy that character, the Vanguard character. I started off as a female shepherd, so I'm very excited to do that again.
oh my
And
god!
it looks.
Are you gonna try and join us though at some point?
I'm trying. I want to play it. It's a very slow go because I forget how barely anyway you get in that game. That's an hour. Like literally, you know how Mass Effect BioWare games are. It's like literally you could barely do anything. It's an hour gone. It's like, what happened?
Well, the first game's like what, 10 hours, Dave? 14?
Yeah, 14 and 15, I want to say, is about where
It
I
wasn't-
ended up.
I haven't started the second one yet, Aaron. So if you can
Okay.
Oh,
beat
wow.
the first,
Yeah, I feel like I'll be able to beat it because I beat
Yeah.
it before. I beat all 3 in the past. So
no, I
feel
know,
like it's
but
highly
like
doable.
we're doing our special. Dave and I have been doing
Oh, I know.
we did our first special episode, but like we would love to
Yeah.
have more voices on that episode. So like if you could like get through the first one and then start the second one, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'm about
Yeah.
10 hours or so into the second one, just over. I played a little
Damn.
bit this morning. I'm
Nice.
doing a lot of the kind of loyalty quests this time round. And
I
stuff.
love those loyalty quests. I loved them in the second one so much.
They don't really have them in the first one.
No, yeah, they're kind of
It's
like
straight to the romancing.
Yeah, straight to the
pretty
fucking.
much. Yeah, pretty much.
I'm playing a game that I can't really talk about because I got into a beta and then it's NDA, so I can't tell you about it. I can't tell you about how much I like it or that it's really good or that I really enjoy it because I've been told I can't tell you about it. So.
But you can tell the publisher, yeah.
Oh, we made it!
Sounds like someone's able to chime in.
You got this beer open? You drinking it? Pop it.
He's getting it right
about
now.
to, yeah.
You better like
I was
chug
like,
that
yeah, rough
shit
day.
Popping.
because we haven't even reviewed it yet.
Is there
Oh,
anyone?
dang.
Is anyone on the podcast going to buy a $200 DualSense Edge controller?
Nope.
I would.
Or
I
not.
mean, I might. I don't know.
I must admit, I saw it advertised and I didn't see the price, and I was kind of like, oh, if that's $100 or less, I could I might buy one, but
Oh no,
$200.
pro controllers are like $150 to $170.
Yeah,
so.
I know, I've seen them
Jesus
before, but
Christ.
I was just like, man, $200. That's, I'm sure it's great, and
It's got a lot of. I mean, I mean,
That's
honestly, the
$100.
only controller I'm looking at buying right now is the fucking backbone for my phone, and I don't know why I feel the need to buy this stupid thing. But I keep thinking like, oh, I could play Diablo Immortal, I could play Vampire Survivors, I could play all these stupid games.
Nice.
I don't know why I want to. I don't know. So maybe.
I don't see why not.
Jared, we were making fun of you because you're getting your VR soon.
Yeah. He's going back in the bucket.
Back into
Yeah,
the
back in the bucket,
Back in
yeah.
the bucket.
Back to
Yeah.
bucket.
How you
Yeah, I
doing,
mean,
Jared? I
I've-
haven't seen you in a long time. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a busy day. I got home after a weekend with you, and or at least an evening with you, and there was all the
Jeez, announce
things.
it on the air. Why
Yeah.
don't you?
It was
Oh,
a
yeah.
day. It was a day and an evening,
Yeah,
and then a
all over.
morning, and then an
Yeah.
afternoon.
Aw.
Tired and shagged out after a good night with Ian.
Yeah,
I would say that Jared
Aw.
is pretty chill. I mean, if you're gonna share a bed with somebody, Jared's probably the best person you're gonna share a bed with. He's like, I pretty much stick to my area. He sticks to his area. Not a lot
I
of.
sleep like a rock once I'm
He
out.
sleeps like a rock. He does.
don't-
He's like
I don't wiggle.
fucking.
Yeah.
He does kind of
It's on
snore,
logs.
but like for the most part, he doesn't snore. He did. There was the one moment where he does snore, and that was just like fucking. But like,
That's
he's
if
not like
I'm on my
fucking
back.
Ed. This is like fucking like a fucking lumberjack. Anyway, I would
I'm
recommend.
a hard sleeper, so
I'm just saying. I recommend sleeping with Jared.
That's your couch co-optional.
I haven't slept with. Well, I've slept with Dave. I haven't slept in the same bed with Dave.
No,
But Dave didn't snore. I mean, when we were in the cabin, Dave
don't
didn't
remember.
snore.
no. I think
Snoring or
I think we just fell asleep. Yeah,
Yeah, we just
then
fell
we
asleep.
woke up. It wasn't.
But we
like-
might have been drunk. Pretty
Yeah,
drunk.
I think we'd had some gin by then.
Well, we drank a bunch of those beers at that fucking
Yeah.
bar, and then we had a fucking gin and tonic, and then we had some
Yeah.
more beers, and then we just fucking crashed.
Speak for yourself. I could only drink so many beers at the bar because I had to drive to the campsite. So
You still
Right.
had a lot of
Yeah.
beers, Dave.
Dang.
I think I had two.
We just had. I think we had two each, and the pastrami.
Yeah, but you had that Imperial Pilsner that was like 9%.
That was, yeah. And then we had the gin and
Wow.
tonic. But then after the gin and tonic, I think we still had a couple beers.
Yeah, we had a low. We did have a pile of beers in the car, so yeah.
Dang.
Anyway, that's Anyway, so I've slept with Jared and Dave.
Oh wow, what an admission!
Yeah.
I want to say I'm jealous, but I'm not.
I would say that. I mean, Aaron and John have slept on my couch at least. I know that.
Yeah.
I've definitely slept on that couch. I've woken up with a couple bit of back pain, but that's what happens.
But
I think
Like-
we've all slept on that couch at least once.
oh yeah.
At least. Oh
Except
yeah.
Nick. I don't
His
think
old
Nick's ever
couch,
slept
not-
on the
not his
couch.
current couch.
Nick
Mm-mm.
doesn't. Nick
I know.
doesn't. Nick, Nick likes to leave as soon as he can. He's like, anyway. I don't know. Why are we talking about this shit?
Yep.
Anyway, you done with the
I
beer? You
distracted
done with
you
the beer? Nick.
I'm
and
bummed. But
Aaron?
yes. I'm bummed, but yes, I am. I am done.
All right.
It was
So Jared, you can kind of talk about it because you're drinking it, but all right,
It's a
we're
little more
we're
hoppy
talking
than it was
about
these days.
Hopworks Winter Ale. We're gonna give this a review. This is Dave's beer. Dave, why did you pick this beer? Do you like? Have you had this beer before?
Yeah, I always like this one. It's quite nice and malty and hoppy, and it's just a good tasting beer. And the can always stands out to me as well. It does have a very eye catching can with the Yeti artwork. So
Yeah, it does.
I always see. I always I always see it when it comes out because it stands out. So
You know what? I've never been a huge fan of Hopworks, but I actually like this kind of, not too bad.
it's more of a hoppy winter. It's not like a
Like
stouty.
not like a seasonedy one either.
No,
It's
it
got like a
reminds me of Sierra Nevada Celebration of quite a bit, actually. You know, it's
Hmm.
like red
Yeah,
I don't-
similar color
hoppy red
with
ale.
sediment.
Yeah, but
I kind of get
maybe
that
a
vibe off
little,
of it.
maybe more mellow than
Yeah.
Celebration.
Yeah, probably yeah.
Like,
Because I don't
Yeah,
think
well,
I was a
Cele-
big fan of Celebration.
So I get the
It's
vibe off of it's kind of like Celebration, but I also feel like it's like a winter, it's like a proper winter hoppy ale. It's like a if that makes any sense. Like it's a bit hoppy, but it tastes kind of like a winter warmer. Like I
Yeah,
feel
it's not
nice and
quite
warm
a
after having it.
barley. It's not quite a barley wine. It's like
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
I've always felt like
It's-
Hopworks was like a fake brewery, in my opinion. Like all their beers were kind of
Oh, really?
fake bullshit beers, in my opinion.
Like
I've
kitschy.
been
Yeah, catchy or just kind of like meh, or just kind of like
yeah, they've
watered
been
down
around
beers.
for a long time.
They've been around for a long
Jimmy
time,
B.
but we have one here in East Vancouver.
I met those guys actually from Hopworks. Yeah, you're not too far off from that
But this
ideology.
one I feel like is an actual real beer. This is like the
Mhm.
first one of their beers that I feel like is actually a real beer. Like, I mean, maybe I'm being unfair, but of all the beers I've drank of theirs, I've just been very nonplussed with. I've just been very kind of meh.
No, I'll
meh,
agree with
meh.
I'll agree with
Yeah.
you. This is the only one of theirs that I've bought multiple times.
It's got a punch,
Yeah.
and then it also has a pretty solid taste, and it's like, and for a winter ale, like you guys are talking about, like usually I don't know, they're either
Usually
really,
they're malt
really,
bombs.
yeah, exactly. And this
Yeah.
one's a little more hoppy, which is kind of actually nice because it kind of levels out the malt.
Mm-hmm.
Eh.
It's like a IPA. It's like a proper IPA and a winter ale kind of had a baby that got the best features of each. That makes any sense. Like it's not too hoppy, but not too malty, like you just said.
It's like one of those
Like-
things. Like I wouldn't drink. I would say I wouldn't drink a lot of it, but at a
Yeah.
certain point when I was trashed, I could just drink it constantly and you just get fucked. Like, a pilsner and that and pilsner and that. And, it's like, meh. And then at a certain point I'm just drunk and I could just like, oh, I'll just switch to this and just get fucked. And like
Yeah.
this
At
is
one
like
point,
because
got
I don't think I
afraid
could
to
get. I wouldn't get sick of this actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got into it because at one point years ago I got a crate of it, so I had 24 of them, and
Oh,
unlike a lot of crates of beer, by the end where I'm just like, oh, I'm glad that's done.
Have you guys
Or,
had
I
this all
don't really
before?
want to drink it, but
yeah.
I have.
So I've never had this before. This is my first time. So I'm like
Yeah,
really
I-
kind of impressed by it.
Up
I
to
mean-
Yeti, Jerry.
I mean,
Man,
a
we're-
lot of their cans are like this though. Like, so you guys are talking about the art, but like, Hopworks does this kind of out loud bullshit can. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it's very Portland 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't really
dude.
pay attention to a lot of their, except for this is the only one that actually ever stands out. I couldn't tell you any other
I've met these guys. And yeah,
beers.
Yeah.
What do you think of it, Nick?
Like I've had it in the past, and I want to say I was like kind of not super impressed with it back then, but maybe because I've had the bar kind of set a little low when I had it today, I was like, oh wow, this isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And in fact, I was almost expecting kind of like the another malt bomb winter ale that you would get from some of the other Oregon brewers, and it kind of wasn't that. It wasn't like that.
It's not a malt bomb and it's not a hot bomb. It's like it
Yeah,
really cuts.
But I mean, I'm not exactly on board with the whole it tastes like an IPA thing, because I wasn't getting that vibe at all when I was drinking mine. But I mean, it tasted like a winter ale to me. But
Yeah, but it does have that hoppiness. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. But I don't know.
first
I
drink
wasn't.
got me.
But when people were comparing it to Sierra Nevada's Celebration Ale. It's
Way to go,
I mean,
Dave.
I mean he's
Celebration Ale used to be classed as a winter ale. It's only recently they call it a fresh hop
they
IPA.
changed it to an IPA. Yeah, no. Back in the
Didn't
day,
we talk about that? Didn't we do an episode on that one?
I think we talked
We
about
did.
it
Yeah,
when
we
we
did.
had
That's
celebration.
me.
But yeah, I mean, I don't exact. I mean, from my experience, like it's not so much like that. More than it tastes kind of like almost a typical winter ale, but just toned down to where nothing is overwhelming and it's actually still pretty
It's
pleasant.
well
So I'm
balanced,
actually, yeah, I'm. This experience was much better than I think ones that I've had in the past. But then maybe whatever I was doing in the past or whatever just
Well, maybe you guys should
just
try
wasn't
the
working.
fresh hop version then, because they do a fresh hop version in October that's quite
Eh,
similar. Then
I don't know if I need
Yeah,
that.
I'd be willing to give it a shot.
I mean, I'll give it a shot, but I
I
don't know if
got
I
it.
need it. I don't know if I need that.
I
All
had a
right.
6-pack in my book. I'm good.
Who has something else they really want to say about this beer? Jerry.
So
It took me to I had to get my tongue wet with it before it really just kind of sunk in. The first sip for me was pretty hoppy, and I gave kind of a shitty face at it. But as I drank more and my palate was covered in its sweet nectar, it got pretty good.
Yeah. All right. All right.
nice.
What about you, Aaron?
well, so I actually had the opportunity to meet the people who actually were behind the Hub Brewery itself, and Ian is right that they're like they look like people who kind of make ho hum beer. Like I met them, I'm just like, but they did this one right for a winter ale. It's not too hoppy, not too malty. I could Would I get messed up off of this? I don't really want to get messed up off of any beer because, it's but if I was going to, I feel like it would be too terrible. I mean, obviously it's different right now, but if I ever accidentally got trashed off of it, it wouldn't be a
It wouldn't take a
horrible.
whole lot at 7.3%.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
But like I said, it's kind of a dangerous beer in a sense because it's so mellow. Like I was expecting a little more punch since it's a winter ale, but it's not. But I was also expecting more hops since it kind of has IPA hits, but it's not. So it's like, okay, I'm I'm really surprised by this because, like I said, I met these guys and they're very kind of ho hum douchebags, but they make good winter ale.
So I think we should review it, but I'll go first because I want to have something to say about it. So like I feel
Okay.
like where's that so I feel like I'm here with
That's
it.
fair enough. Yeah.
That's where I am, but I got to decide
accurate.
here or here ultimately for the show because we don't do halves.
Yeah, you're like
Mm.
3/4.
That's where I'm at.
I mean, like
Three-quarters
really in
of-
the middle of this on this beer, but you know what? I actually want another one right now.
Oh,
So like
one.
it's like
Okay.
I feel like it's one of those things where like I feel like it's like it's a case per case thing. But like I would totally drink another one right now. I don't know if I would really. So that's I'm like
Yeah, you don't need a 6-pack, but
like
you would
here I'm
take
here
another.
I'm not sure it's a beer I would buy. But right now I really kind of craving like I actually really liked it. I
See that?
I'm having a hard time, guys. Like, I think it's here. I really liked it. Do I really like it?
You and Nick split the difference then.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it.
Good, but-
What's everyone else think?
but-
Jerry, what do you think? Where you at?
Yeah, it's hard to gauge because I think overall I would give it a sideways thumb.
Okay.
I don't know, just like the first impression, like once it hit my mouth the first time, I was kind of offended, and I was hopeful that it would get better, and it did.
Offended.
Yeah, well,
heard that phrase
I
before.
mean,
wasn't
when
offended by it.
when I took my first drink, I got this kind of nasty like it hit me right there. You know, it had a lot of hops right at the top.
So this was your face when you
It's a lot of
drank?
That was your face
yeah,
when
yeah,
it
my
hit you.
face
It's
looked
like,
like the can. Yeah,
I could see that.
It would be
but
awesome
as
if
my-
Dave
my
brewed
tongue
beer and then it was all our faces on the separate types of beer.
But yeah, it's one like if you started with this and you got attacked at the start and it was good through, you would totally be able to.
So
finish a
Jared's
six-pack
going
of this.
sideways.
Yeah.
Nick DeWin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go sideways too because I mean I'm kind of with you. I want to be right here, but in order to get up here, I kind of want to be bowled over by it.
Right.
I mean I would drink another one, but I don't think it merits the complete thumbs up.
Okay.
It's good, but not great. I mean, maybe like if we were doing just like a strictly winter ale, like if we were just gonna
Just
like
comparing them all.
yeah, just compare it into like a certain category, I might go a thumbs up. But overall, I think I'm just gonna sit right here.
Okay, so that's one thumb.
Right here.
Jared, where you at? Or I mean, Aaron, where you at?
Oh man, I'm like, oh Jesus. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm exactly where everybody is at right now. I liked it, but if someone said, here's a six pack, I'm like, okay, awesome, thank you. You wanna go get one? Whoa, I don't know. So I'm gonna have to go here. Just because it's like I liked it enough to have another, but do I want to go get another one?
All right.
No.
All right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about this shit. Wherever this shit is. So I've had to rebuy some beers because I've drank them already. Certain people's beers that they picked for the show.
Yeah.
I drank them
You
and I
got
had to
thirsty.
repick them up. And then maybe I had to buy them again because I drank them again. And then having drank those beers multiple times, I've decided that those beers are fucking awful.
Oh man.
I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up. I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna go thumbs up on this one. I think this is actually a pretty good beer. I think I could drink this beer all the time. I think I could actually buy this beer and drink a 6-pack and be totally fine with it. I'm gonna be. I mean, it's fine, you guys. You know what? You guys made your choice. That's fine. I don't give a shit. That's cool. I'm gonna defend this one. Especially since I've hated Hopworks for so long. The fact that they have an actual beer that I like is like just
It's
like
a surprise.
what?
See,
You guys actually make beer that is good?
Man, this Chris Rock special's really mellowed you out, hasn't it?
I know, right?
But at the same point, it's just
Dude, I'm flying over. I'm flying over to England. I'm gonna eat out J.K. Rowling later. So I'll let you know how dusty it is. Anyway, so that's 1, 2.5. We're getting 2.5.
Yeah.
2.5
out of 4.
to the
Here's
2.5
a swerve.
out
She
of
had a
4.
Campbell soup can in those pants. by the way.
Just out of curiosity though, John and Dave, what would have you given the beer? So John would have given a thumbs up if he had drank it, and Dave,
I'm probably thumbs up, yeah.
thumbs up. So
I'm kind of with you. It
Okay.
would have been a 3/4 and I'd have gone to thumbs up. 'Cause
all right. So hey, for you guys, I defended the beer, but you guys don't count because you didn't drink it on the fucking show. So suck a dick.
I just
That's better than a bag of
How do you really feel, Ian?
You know what?
This out.
Jared and I tried to get a bag of dicks last night, and it just the line for a
line
bag
to
of
dicks was
dicks
very big.
was massive.
Come on.
almost
Wait a
as
minute.
Holy
massive as
shit.
Jared.
Especially in just a suburb of Seattle, not in like downtown Seattle where the big dicks restaurants are, but like just in a suburb of Seattle where it was a massive
like Capitol
line.
Hill.
No. Capitol Hill is like one of the most popular ones. Then there's the
It
Seattle
is?
Center dicks.
10
We
minutes
were
from Linwood,
we were in the
north.
Fremont Linwood
Oh.
dicks, like out, and it was just
I would have figured them in Alki Beach. Alki
Yeah,
Beach.
it was
is
just
everywhere.
it was just
It's like a drive-in restaurant
Yeah,
place, like
exactly. Anyway.
Mike's Drive-In, Nick.
so
You
bag
gonna
of
drive the
dicks
dickhead?
were not happening.
Yeah, but this one is just full of dicks.
Okay. Yeah, I got that vibe. When I was
Well, I'm
down
glad
south
that
years ago.
Jared's here because it's time for Aaron's Mobile Minute.
Oh my goodness!
Oh man.
And Aaron,
So
do
I
you
need
have
to
a
get
mobile
a
game or
timer
no?
out?
First question is, Aaron, do you have a mobile game you've been playing?
I do actually.
Oh,
Yes.
so we're gonna
Oh,
do it.
wow.
So we're gonna
Hold
do
up,
it.
Hold up.
I'm
Somebody
probably
did
gonna
their
suck at this
homework.
stuff, but I'm
Stopwatch.
good to go.
I'll do a timer.
Nick to win.
for,
Are you gonna answer the questions or do I need to do it?
You can, because I don't know where the questions are.
Well, they're in the Discord, but it's cool. I'll do it.
I
It's
know,
fine.
but who?
I'll
I'm
do it.
probably gonna
Discord.
bomb on
I'll do
this
it. I'll
one,
do
but
it. I'll do it.
whatever.
I'll do it.
All right. Just tell me when to hit
Aaron's
start.
Mobile
and, we'll go.
Minute.
Aaron's Mobile
You ready, Aaron?
Minute.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Go for it, Jared. Boom. Name of the game.
It's Marvel Snap.
Developer of the game.
I believe it's Marvel.
Publisher of the game.
I don't remember. So yeah, no, can't remember.
Cost money or free to play.
Free to play for sure.
Available on console.
No, just on mobile. Android, iOS, whatever.
How did you learn about the game?
Actually, Instagram.
How much is the game?
It's free, but there are in-game purchases. So
How bad are the microtransactions?
they go up as high as about $10-$20. It's not too steep at all.
Would you do the microtransactions?
Yes, but I would use other form of currency. But that's a story for another day.
What kind of game is it?
It's a trading card battle style game actually.
And that's it for Aaron's Mobile Minute.
Boom! Aaron's Mobile Minute! So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 questions. You got through 10 questions this time. So next time, Aaron, you got to beat 10.
I know. I would actually say I would definitely recommend this to anybody who is a Marvel fan who also likes trading card games, and you can battle against other people as well. And it's definitely worth.
We didn't get to
Trying
those
it.
questions, Aaron.
I know. I'm a
Yeah,
slow-
we
I'm a
didn't even
slow
really
guy.
get to the heart of the game.
I'm very rusty, so
But
I know you're
that's
rusty.
okay.
It's
That
good.
was
You're
Aaron's
doing it's
Mobile
perfect.
Minute.
So you got 10 questions. We're trying to move to 15 next time, and then 20, and then 30.
All
We're
right.
like we gotta start going like we gotta start going like.
Ian needs
I think-
to learn how to read faster. I think is it.
Well, I
Or,
think
like,
some of those
summarize.
questions
My
don't
fault.
really.
Come on, Ian.
My fault.
no, it's me.
Yeah, those were some
I'm
slow-paced
slow-
questions, bruh.
All right.
I was slow
Did we
answering
really need to
those,
know who
though.
the publisher and the developer were?
Yes, because that's what trips him
Oh,
up.
Okay.
That way he knows. That way he's
Oh,
like,
oh.
bum. What's the developer?
Maybe
Oh,
What's
so
the
we need
developer?
to-
we'll change the organization of the questions or something. Like,
I
fuck
just
that
need to
shit.
read.
gameplay might be a little more firsthand.
Fuck that shit.
But-
We have a
but then
question
again,
in the
like,
chat here.
developer
We
and
have a
the
question in the
publisher
chat.
Pop up every time you load the game up. It pops
Before
up.
we move into the main topic of the game, we have this guy, Cave Out. What is the most expensive thing in your life, guys? Like that's his question.
Children.
Yeah, I was gonna say my kid.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
daughter.
We just had to buy softball gear.
There you go,
Okay.
Cave
my
Out.
house.
Ching.
Hey, don't ever have kids because kids are expensive.
Yeah, children.
There you go. What's the
That's
most
it.
expensive
If
thing
you
in your
don't want
life?
them, that is.
Kids.
Let's just
My-
be honest here.
The most expensive thing other than my car, my house, and my kids is
Yeah, house.
Oh,
House is
oh,
very expensive.
is
yeah.
probably my,
Yes.
my guitar. Which
In
was
my
about
house, the
1,000
most,
bucks.
or in my, for me who doesn't have kids, the most expensive thing in my life is the house. So
I have the tie between the house and kid.
John's gonna be like, "Oh, that's my bitch." It's probably
It'd
just
probably be my
It's probably
paint
just-
sprayer.
John. John's got like fancy taste. No,
My
I'm
dead
bougie.
chin.
bougie. He's Vegas bougie.
Dude,
When you get-
I'm still all about the roller on paint, man. I
Roller.
don't have a paint sprayer. I painted
Jared,
my whole
when I-
house
when
by
I moved-
hand.
When I moved to
Oh,
Oregon, you're
I
more than
remember
welcome
that.
to it.
Yeah,
Mm.
man, maybe.
All right, fuck that shit. So
Well, at least somebody asked us a question.
yeah, at least
yeah.
someone they
Thanks.
said hey, and then they were like, hey,
Nice.
what's the most expensive thing in your life, guys? And it's like, what a weird ass question to ask. But
You know
fucking-
what? At least people are listening.
Wants to.
I
It's
guess. The kid.
well, I mean, if we're
my
a bunch
wife?
of apartment
I don't know. I
dwellers-
don't like what?
It's a very deep question.
Well, it's not a bad like go back 10 years ago.
No,
And
not
how do
my
we answer
wife.
that question?
My wife's pickup truck is the most expensive thing in,
Yeah.
in my life.
Oh my goodness. Right.
I mean, I don't think it's such a bad question.
The
but
amount of
I don't
gas
know.
that fucker sucks. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's just deep.
Yeah.
That's all. That's a deep question. I did not expect that. I think we're all like, huh?
is it deep?
Yeah,
Well,
I
it's like,
think you just exclude the house and house and cars because like
Yeah. If
But,
you're talking just
and-
electronic gizmos, yeah. Yeah. My PlayStation.
This
Well, it's
guy's
also-
this guy's
the most
probably like
expensive
lives in
one.
Dubai and
Right
he's
now.
like, oh my Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
And it's like, hey,
But,
guys,
I mean,
like
That's
we're
private
real guys. We're not like
helicopter.
fake pseudo shitty motherfuckers. We're like real people. So
Oh, is he income shaming us, you think?
maybe,
Yeah.
Income
knows?
shaming.
Income
We
shaming.
don't get
Hilarious.
free stuff from publishers. They
Dude,
don't even know about
he's
it,
not
so
even in
whatever.
this chat anymore. So we're
No,
like,
he's long
they
gone.
don't give us anything.
Oh, he just dropped his bomb and he was out of here.
Dick.
couldn't even subscribe, asshole. Like, hey,
Uh.
that wouldn't cost you anything, asshole. Anyway, I'm gonna shame all our fucking. Anyway, all right. So as we move on into the next, the main topic of tonight was we wanted to talk about difficulty in games versus, difficulty in games and then also versus kind of like accessibility, because that's kind of the massive debate, like whether games should be easier for accessibility or difficulty. It's just kind of a debate, like. So, and I know Nick. Was it Nick? Nick, were you the one that kind of brought this to the table? You're the one that brought this to the table, right?
I mean, I did as a joke, but
Oh, you brought it. You brought it to the table as a joke, and you didn't really want to
Yes,
talk about
because-
it. You didn't want to talk about it.
No. No,
I
we
mean,
can
it
talk
wasn't
about
like
but
you
it's-
typed it and then had a fucking hilarious face. You just kind of like typed it like as a. So when you type it, it's like, oh, it's just kind of a
So-
serious comment.
Yes and no. I mean, I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about because I mean, I've always heard some other people, like I would have sworn I associated it with Jared, but it's probably somebody else in my past who had the idea about game difficulty and whether you should adjust it or not. But I just thought it was you were kind of clowning on me because I was playing Ragnarok on the default difficulty rather than switching it to easy, just so I could.
I like the default difficulty in most games, actually. It's kind of nice. I mean, the only
You
thing
do
I
or you
don't
don't?
like, do actually. I
Okay.
enjoy the regular difficulty in any game because it's like, I feel like that's how it's meant to be played. I mean, yes, easy mode is
Yes.
great if you want to watch a movie. I agree. I mean, but however, the
And-
people who just, I feel like people torture themselves when they go to the super difficulty. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, there's some people that just love breaking shit. They get pissed off. I mean, I remember, for example, Doom Eternal or Doom 2016. They created the Ultra Nightmare difficulty. The creators of the
that's been
fucking
around
game.
since Doom. I
Oh.
think that's been around since either Doom or Doom 2, the Ultra Nightmare. And,
yeah, it's always been like
Yeah.
Nightmare of
Well,
something.
no, right? No,
I could never
yes,
pass the first level. Yeah.
but no. What I was trying to say was like, even the creator of the games couldn't beat that difficulty. What makes you think you can do it? Nothing personal to anybody who's that good at gaming. But if the creator of the game can't beat it, who the fuck can beat that? That is.
Ye-
But I mean, therein lies the challenge too. I mean, the person who actually does do it. I mean, you can heap praise on them. But
Well,
I mean, it's not something I'd ever do. but-
I'd forgotten until
Hell
this
no.
topic came up that I remember now the Atari 2600 has difficulty switch on it, A, B, and
Huh.
depending on the game, it either makes it faster, slower, or it gives you more lives to start with.
Dave,
like
I
5
mean that
lives
fucking
instead of
thing,
3.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it has, but like it has like multiple things. Like you can make
Yeah.
that game like you can select asteroids, let's say, and then you can start selecting through it, and it just
Yep.
makes it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Like it's just like you shoot like I don't know.
I
It's
remember
just-
that
it's just
being
weird.
a big thing though, because like back then most games didn't have any kind of difficulty level. It was like You got
There it is.
even arcade games. It's like
Mm-hmm.
some arcades were really hot. The difficulty was turned up or it was turned down, but you couldn't select it. Because I remember like the Simpsons arcade game and the Turtles
Mhm.
arcade game. Some arcades had it turned so like you did the bad guys did a lot of damage every time they hit you and you got more. And then other
Oh.
games were like other arcades would have it
Yeah,
turned.
so you
So,
pump more coins in it. And...
yeah, depending on how like they obviously
Money,
were
baby.
tweaking it to milk
But
you.
I mean, some of us haven't finished God of War Ragnarok yet, and I shame you because we want to talk about it. But ultimately, in my opinion, I don't like that game enough that I want to play it hard. I just want to play it on easy and play it through. It's not a game I want to play on normal because I don't like it enough. Ultimately, I don't like the game enough
I can see that.
I don't
to
like the
play
mechanics
it.
of it.
Yeah, I don't like it enough to just play it on normal. I just want to get through it, experience it, see all the cool shit. But like ultimately, it's not a game that I appreciate the difficulty enough.
I get that.
So like, I don't really want to get that far into the weeds of that because I would at some point in this year I would like to talk all of us to talk about this game.
Yep.
So like a couple of
But
us
do we really have
need
to
to
wait for
fucking
me to-
beat this game. Unless you guys don't want to beat it. Unless you guys unless you guys have tapped out of it, then we can start doing it right away. But if you guys have not tapped out of it, I don't want to talk anymore. But like I'm just
So
saying like
who besides me hasn't beaten it?
you and Aaron.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you guys
I mean,
don't. I mean, we could get to. I mean, Dave, John, me, and Jared could get together, and we could do the episode by ourselves. If you guys don't want to be a part of that episode, that's fine. You can just stop playing the game.
this long after it, I'll have to watch some refresher videos, no doubt.
Oh, really? No, that
Yeah.
game's fresh in my
Good.
mind.
Yeah, it's
That
not
makes me feel
fresh.
good. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah,
He's just being a dick. Or if you guys want to be on the episode anyway and just like be done with it, that's fine. Also, I just we're,
I mean,
we're,
my thing is,
we're
don't wait
talk-
on me.
No, I'm just saying we talk about certain games. Like in my opinion, there's certain games I'm willing to play difficult, and there's certain games I'm just like I don't give a shit.
I played the first Wolfenstein remake for the PlayStation 4. I beat that on the hardest difficulty, and that was difficult. Especially that last Mecha Hitler last boss. That took me like a week of like banging my head against it, which was quite unusual for me because usually I don't play games on the hardest difficulty because I'm kind of like with Ian most of the time. I just want to
Jared's
enjoy
gonna
the
go to get fucked up
mechanics and just play the game. But that for some reason that one I really enjoyed playing it. But then the other thing about that game compared to a couple of games I've played is the difficulty level was pretty uniform throughout. Like whereas I remember I think it was one of the XCOM games. There was a real like
The first one.
yeah, I think it was the first one. There's a difficulty cliff. Basically, you go along and the mission, you power your guys up, and your missions they get very very simple, or not simple, but you almost become OP, and then suddenly the aliens like go up another level, and it introduces some new aliens, and now you're like totally not OP.
So Jared and I, we had he and I. So it's funny. So we did an episode after the episode we did last week. So after the last week's episode, then Jared and I just hung out and we just talked more about Elden Ring. And so I released that as its own episode last week. And Jared and I actually talked about this last week about kind of difficulty in that game and how while that game is difficult, you learn to just grind and get more powerful, and then everyone always gives Souls games a lot of shit that they're just too difficult and they're not accessible. But ultimately, if you just play it, grind it, get more powerful, the game becomes easier. And in my, we were talking about like he was a certain level, like 180, I don't know. But I'm like, I was like 200 level, 220 something. So like when I came across a boss, I destroyed them and they were easy because I spent so much time in the game world grinding out levels that I became powerful enough to to defeat them in a different way. Whereas when he was like a lower level at like 180 or whatever, it was harder for him and he needed help. And so like that's like, so this Elden Ring doesn't have a difficulty setting. You approach it the way you would approach it. So like if you go to it and you're getting your ass kicked, well, maybe you shouldn't be there anymore. You need to go out, you need to grind some more. And maybe that's not your thing, but actually in that game, that's what I enjoyed about it. Like
Borderlands is kind of set up like that too.
exactly.
Yeah,
Kind
go
of.
off and do some side quests because
Get more powerful.
that guy's too powerful, yeah.
Better
Even
level up,
Diablo or
Yeah.
a lot of those kind of games are kind
Even
of set up.
Horizon Forbidden West was kind of like that. You know, it tells you what level you should be going into like the missions and stuff, but
then I would get
often
overpowered. And so like
Yep.
I would roll, so like certain bosses that it took Jared, he had to buddy up, or I could just solo, you know? I did all these certain things a different way than he did. He kind of grouped up with somebody and took him down. Like I went in and I soloed them, but like my level
did
was
keep
so much
solo.
higher just because I was just like, well, I just really loved that game. I loved being in that world, and I was cool with like killing other enemies and just leveling up. I mean, it's kind of one of those things is like when they talk about difficulty and then accessibility, it's like I don't think Elden Ring is a hard game. I do not honestly believe it's a hard game.
Just time consuming.
It is time exactly. You need to commit to it, but I do not believe it's a hard game. If you're willing to put in the time, level up, you're going to do it.
It's a fine line
you
between
can
leveling
power
up and like kind of you like spending some time to acquire the skills. Like God of War is a kind of classic in that respect. It's like if you know a few combos, it doesn't half become a lot easier than if you just like don't pay any attention and randomly press buttons. And so, you do have to have some commitment to the game to
And I get the accessibility thing, but like ultimately it's like, are you just wanting to breeze through it? Or do you want to experience it like the rest of us? And I feel like if you want to experience it like the
honestly
rest
think
of
you
us,
should
maybe
be
you
able to
just need to play and level up. Just keep leveling
I
up.
think you should be able to play a game how you want.
I mean, you're
And,
right, Jared.
if-
You
if
should
you
be
don't
able
have the
to.
time or even the abilities to really grind through a game like that, and you just don't have the option to play it because of the lack of settings.
But
you're
right, Jared. But at
kinda
the same
garbage.
time, Jared, like, I've never been a Souls guy. I've never liked those games. Because, but like this one, and then I played it, and it's like, you're right. I would want it to be easier for me to get through it. Like I would want God of War. But because there's no difficulty setting, I also had to relearn how I would want to play the game.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Makes sense.
because like, yeah, right. My time is precious to me, but at the same time, I learned to then also love the world design, play it out, try things.
Yeah,
It's such a complicated thing because it's like, I get it. Even with accessibility options, everyone's like, that's too hard. But it's like, well, just keep grinding a little bit.
Well, if
could
you go
sti-
back to like the PlayStation 2 games and PlayStation games, most of those didn't have difficulty setting. What you got was what you got, and
Oh yeah, no doubt.
they.
Yeah.
I must admit, I've
to
played
learn.
some games where it's obvious that the play testers have got really good at it, and the difficulty setting was so high because they knew how, they play tested the level so many times that they keep ratcheting up the difficulty.
It's just one of those things that made me learn, like, maybe I could go back to a Dark Souls game and, like, play it. The problem with the Dark Souls games is they're just not Elden Ring. But, for me. But the idea that I can slowly become, as you play the game, stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and then go and fight a boss, that's the game. That's the game to me. That's the game.
The leveling up is the game.
That's what it rewards you.
Yeah.
And then other people that are upset that it doesn't have a difficulty setting or it's accessibly, you can't access it. It's like, well, you're just trying to punch through this game. But that's not what the game is. That's not what this game is. So sometimes I feel like difficulty versus accessibility, even difficulty is like, you need to like pull your shit back a little bit sometimes. That's all. I just feel like the game will get easier if you're willing to commit and play to it. You know? Like, that's my
Spend the
opinion.
time.
Because they're always asking, I mean, Jared knows, I mean, they're always asking that, you know, From Software adds a difficulty setting.
Yes.
But I feel like the difficulty setting is built into the game.
Yeah,
It's,
the difficulty
it's
setting
literally
is
built into
how
the game.
long you play the game, not like, no, yeah.
I mean, Jared, you went into Millennia and you had to beat it with somebody, right?
Yes.
We talked about this. He went in and he had to group
have
up.
like high agility of a character. I had like a heavy weapon, and I was lumbering around kind of thing, and that doesn't work with that
Yeah.
that boss.
So he threw down his thing and he had someone help him beat that boss.
Yeah, about 20 different people. Then I finally eventually got the boss.
I went in solo, and my 5th time I beat her. Solo.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I was like level 227 or some crazy shit, and I learned a way to like just own her on my own. And she was never a boss I was concerned with. There was other bosses that I thought I would never beat solo. She was a boss I walked into knowing that she was the hardest boss in the game.
Yep.
And I early on found a way, I could do this. Oh, I could do this. I can do. So like, it was never like, I'm never going to beat this bitch. I kept finding ways like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Okay. So like in that 5th round, it's like, we're just going to own her. And then we did. So it's like, and that's what's rewarding about that shit. That's kind of what's rewarding about that shit. But there
is a sense of satisfaction when you beat that bad guy that you've been banging your head against.
But no one is level 228 when they fight her. Everyone's like 150 or 100 and this or 100, you know. I just ground and got leveled. It got leveled. I just made myself so OP when I walked into her finally. It's like, suck a dick, bitch.
To kind of move on from Elden Ring, there's plenty of other games that are
There is a lot of. This is a really easy one.
Let's just go around the circle. Like, what do you think the most difficult game you've ever beat was, Nick?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of games and a lot of history there, but
Tetris.
I mean, while you think of that, I mean, I could just throw out like on Super Nintendo, mine was Super Ghouls and Ghosts, because you have to beat it twice.
And Ghosts and Goblins was kind of the same way.
And no
on the
save
NES,
function,
which I
no
never
save
did.
function. Yeah, so I did end up beating that, and that's
there's a
probably
game
the
you have
hardest
to
game ever. Yeah.
In the history of man.
No, to me.
Yeah. I'm with Ian. Tetris on the Game Boy when the space shuttle takes off.
Did you ever actually beat it? I never beat it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
man.
I just realized the time.
Master.
I didn't realize what time it was, but I will say something before I go. The toughest game I ever had to play was actually the Doom 2 for the computer, actually. The toughest game I've ever beat in my life. And that was so long, so difficult, that final level where you had to go through yeah. And I even beat that secret level where you had to go through the wall and shoot that head, and that's all that was left to it. So.
Oh, yeah. That was great. That was John Carmack right there.
Aaron, you can't leave yet. We have one more thing we have to ask of you.
What?
What beer's next week?
Oh gosh, that's a toughie.
Isn't it a buoy? Isn't it a buoy?
Yes, buoy cream ale. Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
Wait.
Nice.
All right, let's do that one.
There it is.
That one sounds good. All right.
Sweet.
Isn't that the only one you have left? That's your last one, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I think so.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys.
Now you're free to go,
All right,
buddy.
good night,
night.
Aaron.
Love
All
you,
right, good night,
buddy.
guys.
You take
Love you
care.
guys.
Give the
You
family
too.
We'll
hugs.
see you next week.
See you
Let
next
us know what your
week
co-optionals
for
are.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Post that.
Actually, my
Oh, just
yeah,
scroll them
I'll,
Yeah,
out,
just post
or
it. We'll
post them.
read it
Post
out.
them, and we'll share
All
them.
right,
I'll
yeah.
post them. I
We
had
do
to
Alright.
that.
think about it. So,
All
all
right, man.
right, guys.
Night,
Cool.
dude.
Night.
Good night.
Night.
John Patrick Kelly. What is the most difficult game you ever fucking played?
Well, the two games that come to mind, I've spoke about it before. The Witcher 3 I've spoke about as being the most fairest, the hardest game I've ever played.
Really?
And but I played it on Death March,
Oh, well, there you
and
go.
tying into God of War, I recently started playing God of War Ragnarok again, just to kind of do the wrap up side quests. And I've taken a break so long from that game, even on easy. Now it's hard because I'm not used to the combat system anymore. Versus when I was in the middle of playing that game, the combat was easier because I was more fluent in the system. So now coming back to it, I'm just kind of like stumbling along and then figuring out like what weapons do I have again? I have the spear. What does the spear do?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I hate
and
that when
then
you come back to a game and you've like forgotten all
yeah,
the buttons.
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah,
That happens a lot. Yeah, when you're playing through so many games and they all have similar features, but they use slightly different buttons, and it's
yes.
confusing. Yeah, it can be difficult.
But so with The Witcher 3, I Death March was challenging, but I think with the difficulty and accessibility, it just depends on what the objective of the game itself is. And I think with a higher difficulty, it elevates the game because instead of just using The Witcher as an example, instead of just relying solely on his sword, you have to rely on his sword. You have to
His
then start using
powers.
potions. You have to start researching what you're hunting. And then you have to look into your magic. And then what kind of build of the character are you doing? Okay, do I have the right armor going into this?
You really have to role
So
play for it.
And every
yeah,
fight's
so I
different. So like whatever this fight is that. Whatever this fight is, like because then the creatures are different too. Like
yeah,
depending.
and the
Yeah.
enemies all respond differently. Some you can block, some you just have to dodge constantly. And then you have a game like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first one. I remember playing that on veteran
Hmm.
and
Oh
just
yeah.
being so relieved to pop the trophy of getting playing it, completing all the missions on veteran, and just cursing Mile High Club because it's such a short level.
Yeah.
There's no save spot or checkpoint. So if you fail, you have to
You,
restart the whole thing again. And I
yep.
just remember just going on and on and on and on. But the cool thing with Modern Warfare was if you collected all the intel, you would get cheat codes. And
Cheat
so,
codes.
so I remember collecting all the intel, and you unlock slow mo. So that was always fun, just to pop in slow mo
Oh, I
as
didn't know
you're
anybody
playing through
actually
the
collected
game.
all those.
Oh yeah,
I
that was
don't
when
know
I was
anybody
more
else
into
that did.
achievement
John's a dude,
hunting.
bro.
Yeah, dude, bro. Let's
That was my
dude.
achievement hunter
collect.
days.
Okay, nice.
So I'm gonna pick. I mean, my worst hardcore video game story, and it's probably easy for some people, but fuck Batman Arkham Asylum.
Oh,
I
nice.
played that
Hardest
on hard,
difficulty, yeah.
and that's what I think that's ultimately what kind of fucking wrecked me because I beat that game on hard.
Yeah,
But
that's an easy game. I don't know I don't understand what you're
suck a
talking
dick,
about.
John. I hated it. I fucking hated that game on hard, dude. That game was awful on hard. I don't know. Like fuck that game.
First
Like
time through, yeah. Screw that. Yeah, maybe
like
second
the
time
like
through.
like the fucking electrical guys and the jokers on fucking Venom, and it's just fucking constant juggling of all these assholes. It's just like the worst. Like all the games after that I played on easy, and it's like it's so
Yeah,
fucking just
it's so
fine.
much
It's so
more
easy,
fun.
so much more fun and enjoyable. That game
Yeah.
was awful on hard. I fucking hated it. And yeah, it just kind of broke me. It's just like, why do I need to do this? Why do I fucking need to do this?
I think there was an achievement.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
I think that's the reason.
This is
I've
kind of
played
the
a
other
lot of these
thing. This is-
games on hard. Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of one of the other things.
Yeah.
Is like there's achievements on certain game. Like PlayStation has decided on their exclusives that they don't do that anymore. They don't do that. So like you can
Any
can,
difficulty level.
but kind of other games there's like like Doom and like Batman. It's like yeah, we'll throw those fucking difficulty settings, and it's like. So I was like, I was gonna play it, and I was like, oh, I'll play it on hard and just do it, and just like, that's cool for you, John, that you beat it right away. Like it fucking killed me, man. I mean, I did it, and I felt, but I didn't feel accomplished when I did it. I just felt like
relieved.
this is no, not even
frustrated.
relieved. I just felt like
Yeah.
this is
No, I'm done
fucking
with it.
stupid. This is like that last Joker battle where you're fighting him when he's all venomed out, and then there's all these other like ads, and they're all like electrocuting you and shit, and you're trying to like beat him, but they're fucking with you, and it's just like, I
hate it when they
really
don't
just don't care.
do that.
I
They
really
make
just
like the
yeah.
last boss battle. Instead of making the boss itself harder, they just add more little like annoyance guys that like give you.
Yeah.
I
get
really
cheap
just don't
hits.
care.
Yeah,
And
like
then like it
electrical
was like
floor
there's this
panels and
certain
stuff.
Yeah.
So like most of the additional ads are fine, but they have this certain ones that like
The taser guys.
the taser guys. Oh my god.
Because you don't get the notifications like red. You
No,
can't dodge that, or
it's
you
just
can't block
no,
that,
and that's
or
the thing.
whatever.
Yeah, you don't get those notifications like you would in the normal game. You have
Yeah.
to like just understand the animation,
Yeah.
and it's just like and that's how I played the whole game, which is fine. And you're right. Hey, I beat fucking Batman Arkham Asylum on fucking hard. That's
But I don't
cool.
know if you
But like,
felt
no
good
one
about
gives
it.
a
You
shit that
felt
I did
just
that.
Relief.
And so
Like, why did
ultimately,
you do
because
that
like
to yourself?
no one else, and I'm just playing, and just like, this is the
Eh.
worst. I hate,
And,
and I just
You
hate
are
this
a god
game.
among men.
and it
I just
burned you
hate
out
this
for a
game.
while.
I literally
It burned
just
you
hate
out.
this game. I literally just hate this game. Where I could have just
Yeah.
played it on normal or easy and had a good time. It's like, oh, this is a fun game. I literally hate that game because of that. And
Did-
it's
did
like, it's just like, is that what you wanted? I guess that's what
Yeah.
you wanted. You made that trophy in there. I don't know what to say. This is early on. This is PS3. This is like back on, like, I'm kind of trophy hunting still. And I'm just like, okay, I'll do it. Fuck it. I'll do it. And it's just like, man, that just fucked with me. And that's cool, John. You did
Yeah.
it. No problem. Because John's a young kid. He's got those fast thumbs.
Oh,
He
yeah,
sees
fast
his.
reaction
He's got
I got
like
that
he's
quick
got that.
mind.
He's got that shit. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not his dad here. Slow
Did
dad.
we miss anybody?
But like, it's not like I didn't beat it. I just said I beat it and said, "Fuck this game." Like I did, just
Yeah.
didn't enjoy it. So like when Arkham City and Arkham Knight, I played those games just normal and I had a great time. It was fun. They're great games.
Yeah.
But I fucking I have a hatred for Arkham Asylum. Like fuck that game. Like I hate it. I fucking hate it. Like
Yeah,
fuck
that's
that
why
difficulty
games
bullshit.
where you can change the difficulty midway through the game are primo.
Primo,
You should
but
be
like
able to change difficulty.
Yeah.
on
fuck
the fly.
difficulty. Fuck difficulty trophies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
Have you ever quit a game like recently that's just been too difficult, even if you turn it down all the way? I think the
God
last
of War Ragnarok Endgame.
you haven't beat it then, or
I beat the game, just like some of the final challenges and stuff like that, and bosses and
Yes.
stuff. Even
Yeah.
on easy, they're fucking hard, and I just
I
don't wanna
didn't.
deal with it.
Yeah, I
Great.
tried playing
Um,
some of the end content, and it was just
Yeah.
like, meh.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. No.
Yeah, I got through the story, and it was on easy. That
So
was a game,
I-
and I know we're going to do an episode on, but that had some cheap
I
enemies.
am
in
not going to get the platinum in
Yes.
that.
It. Yeah,
Something for me to look forward to. Great.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you should totally do the end game stuff because there's some story bits that you can hit without like the challenge. So definitely follow those trails.
yeah. There's some interesting
I'm trying to
little
think
story
about it. I'm
bits,
trying to
but-
think. Like, I don't know.
Did
like-
did
Well, I
we go
mean-
through everybody on a difficult game story?
I didn't have
Yes.
an answer because I
Do you know? Yeah, because I kind
No,
of skipped
it's
over you. You were
No,
deep in
I
thought.
play God of War on easy
It-
as fuck.
I mean, I don't know if I have like a most difficult experience, but I mean, playing both God of War and Ragnarok
At the
on
same time.
normal. Well, I was. I stopped the 2018 one just to focus more on Ragnarok, but um, not that this is the most difficult experience, but I've got the difficulty set at whatever the default was, and
It's still hard.
I no, it is, but at the same point, when I actually beat a boss, there is a little bit of a reward. So it's like I kind of like that challenge, which is why I don't switch it over to easy
Yeah.
just to beat it, just for the sake of beating it and saying like, hey, okay, I'm ready to talk about my experience. Because I mean, even though I'm kind of stuck on a boss right now, when if and when I actually beat him, it'll be it'll just feel that much better when I do.
Is it
And
Balder?
no, it's
Ah,
Fisk, and it's dumb because I feel like I should already have like beat him, but
yeah. Yeah. Some of those
or
battles are freaking hard. You have to have a lot of endurance to get
well,
through them.
well, not only that, but I kind of thought like the battlefield was kind of a certain shape, and only recently did I realize, oh, I could go this way, and it was kind of a discovery that I made a little too late. But I mean, next time I give it a shot, I'll definitely consider it as a means for escape and stuff like that. But no, it's like I have struggled a little bit with some of the bosses on both games, but I've noticed like I mean they may take a little bit of time trying to grind through and beat, but sometimes I'll just put the controller down, kind of walk away for maybe a day or something, come back to it, and then for whatever reason, I just do a lot better, and then I eventually get through, and then I can continue on with the game
Yeah.
and get that much closer to the episode that we're gonna do on it.
Well, it's funny because like story based games, I'm not a huge fan of challenge. Like
Yeah.
if you're really in it for the story, I don't like rinsing and repeating a boss fight. But like a game like Elden Ring or whatever, it's like yeah, there's story, but it's more about like the atmosphere and the boss fights and all that stuff. So you're like, I don't mind like trying a boss over and over and over again. But like God of War, if I had to do some of those boss fights more than a few times, I just got super annoyed. Like I don't know. That's just me.
I
Yeah.
can see
But
that because it's like
yeah,
you also want to progress the story and see where
yeah,
it
I want to see
goes.
what's
You know what's
next.
funny
Yeah.
about God of War? I mean, we were talking about it. What's the one Heimdall? The Heimdall fight where it just you have to do certain things to get him to
Yeah, with the
break.
spear.
I only fought him once, but the entire time is like I'm yelling like I do not want to fucking do this again. I don't want to
Yeah.
fucking do. I'm fighting this
Yeah.
guy. And it's like he's like blah 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 blah, and I'm like figuring
Yeah,
it
it
out,
was
and I'm
pain.
figuring it out. But it's like I'm just like, dude, this boss fight sucks. I don't
It
want
was
it.
kind of
Blah blah blah
obnoxious.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I beat it, and it's like, oh, that's cool. All right, fine. But like
All right,
in
I'm
my
done.
head, I'm like, dude, I don't want to fight. This is a garbage fucking boss fight. This is the worst
Yeah.
stupid
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
boss fight, in my opinion. Like I get you're trying to make him look invincible and shit, but like,
Yeah.
I just fucking hated it, and it's just like, which is funny because I beat him, but like I was just like sitting there, it's like
Yeah. You're
in
just like, really?
in God of, you know what's funny? It's like in this God of War bullshit. I'm not here to fucking be challenged.
Yeah.
I just want to get through. I want to see the story. Like Elden Ring, I want to be challenged. God of
Well-
War, I just don't give a shit. I really like that's ultimately I just don't give a shit enough to be challenged by this game. I just want you to tell me. I want to watch this movie. I want to play out this movie in a film-like manner, and I don't really give a shit about the challenge. And I put it on easy, and then you guys are still fucking with me. And
Yes.
it's like, I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. So that's why this
want
game
to press
can't
a
be Game
few
of the Year.
buttons.
And you have all these motherfuckers saying it's Game of the Year. It's not Game of the Year. It's same fucking bullshit of the last game. You fuckers suck a dick. Elden Ring is so superior to fucking God of War Ragnarok. It's
game that
it's
kind of-
hilarious how much
its whole
superior that game
shtick
is. Anyway,
is having one camera shot pretty much, and then like you keep seeing game over screens.
yeah, exactly.
It just kind of takes you out of it.
It's hilarious how many people are afraid to play Elden Ring, but are willing to play God of War on hard. And it's like,
But
get fucked. Just go play Elden Ring. Elden Ring is one of the greatest fucking games. Like, it's literally in my top 5 now. It's one of the greatest games ever fucking made. Like, literally one of the greatest fucking games ever made. God of War Ragnarok will never be in my top 50. Literally will never be in my top 50. Probably not even in my top 100. It's that kind of garbage Sony game. Maybe the first God of War was pretty good. 2018 was pretty solid. I'd probably put it in my top 100. But God of War Ragnarok is just retread bullshit garbage.
oh, I loved it. But
I mean, I loved it. It's a good game.
the
I had
path
fun
of
with it,
difficult
but it's
games,
not better than 2018, and it's
Am-
nowhere even close to Elden Ring.
Am I the only one that likes the rogue style games? That kind of difficulty, like Rogue Legacy.
You're
Rogue
talking
Legacy
like you're
2
talking like
recently
you're
came
talking, but you're talking like a Returnal and
that's
shit.
challenging. Yeah, Returnal. Yeah, that style. Of
I would
game
say
where
Returnal
it's
is better than
challenging,
God of War Ragnarok.
But
I would say that 100%.
I'm just.
I
trying
never
to
even
leave,
beat it, and I
Elden
think
Ring and
Returnal's
God of
better.
War in our trail at this point. But like, am I the only like person that likes that kind of like randomly generated kind of level where there's challenge?
Well,
and
I hate
as you,
AI, and AI
get
generated
certain
bullshit is
upgrades,
just not. It's
it
cool.
makes
I
it
just
slightly
don't-
easier and stuff like that. Like, am I the only one that's really?
No,
enjoyed
I like
kind
that
of
stuff
game?
too. I just don't feel like it's.
I play the games mostly for story nowadays, so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not really big on
I think you know what is crazy.
Just
I think
like
Dave
horde
would
mode
really
type
like
stuff.
Returnal. I know he's never gonna play it, but I think Dave would really dig Returnal.
we'll
Maybe
see.
I should just log in on your PS5 and download it for you.
Jared had me play Dark Souls. Oh, I couldn't stand
No,
that.
you wouldn't.
Oh,
no, that's not even the same.
It's
Returnal's like
not-
a
not
shooter.
even
I know,
close to
but
being as
sci-fi
good. Yeah,
shooter.
Returnal's so good.
I think Dave
I
would
should-
dig
yeah,
Returnal.
when I come up to your house to pick up PSVR, I should just download Returnal for you. See if it's something.
Dark Souls,
you're
no.
interested in.
I mean,
yeah.
Dave's not.
So good.
Dave's not gonna like Dark Souls. He's not gonna
No.
like Elden Ring. I'm just saying. I think God of War Ragnarok is the most redundant game. Like, do we need it? No. It's just more.
I think
It's
it's
more. It's just
so
more. It's like
popular.
it's like
We need it more for the
Horizon.
story.
It's like Horizon Forbidden West. It's just more.
yeah.
It's more of that. Sure, they tweak some stuff, but it's just more. God of War Ragnarok is more. The fact that God of War Ragnarok is just getting so fucking like jerked off love is just like kind of like, dude, fuck you. Like
What were your-
BAFTAs are like,
What were you talking about, Rogue Legacy, Jared?
But that genre, like I loved Rogue Legacy, and the sequel came out, and nobody talked about it. I haven't even picked up Rogue Legacy 2, but it is out. It's
yeah,
a thing.
but
and I
no,
loved Rogue
not a lot of
Legacy.
people fell in love with that.
Yeah, but
It's
the people
weird.
that did play it loved it, and they say it's even better than Rogue Legacy. You know, the first one.
Yeah.
And I still have not tried it. But
Can-
back
can-
on Returnal, if you were to say most satisfactory difficult game, that would be the
It
one
is
for me.
satisfying.
No, that game has the same thing as Elden Ring. I just
But I
just
enjoy
suck.
Returnal more
I
than
just
Elden Ring. But I put less time into it because it didn't
no.
take as
You
long.
put a lot of time into Returnal.
I platinumed both of the games.
Returnal is just like I'm not as good as Jared, or I'm just not. I guess I'm just not. At a certain point, I'm just like, okay, I'm willing to retire, but I like Returnal quite a bit. Returnal's a pretty dope game.
Yeah, yeah. But roguelike games, that's part of it. Yeah, Returnal, roguelike C, there's lots and lots of games. Like half of the demos on Steam, recent demo, whatever, all the independent games are all pretty much rogue style games, where it's all randomly generated levels with skill updates. The couple that you keep, and a lot of them you lose, and you slowly get better. And it's about skills and remembering how to play the game and just being good at it. It's like that kind of gameplay loop is satisfying if done right. There's ways to do it poorly where getting hit seems unfair. Enemies take too much damage, blah blah blah, and that kind of thing. Some enemies take way too many hits, they're bullet sponges or whatever, that kind of garbage. There's a really difficult balance to actually make a challenging game fun. And
I mean,
there's certain
I played
games that do
Halo
it better.
Infinite on easy, and I remember some of the boss battles just being like, serious?
Yeah, monotonous and dumb. I haven't played the game yet, but I want to.
I mean, the game is
So when
fine.
was the last game that you guys enjoyed for the challenge? Elden Ring aside.
Elden Ring aside.
I actually really enjoyed what was the sniper game? I can't
Sniper
remember.
Elite?
Oh,
Yeah,
Elite
Sniper
5?
Elite. I played that on a hard difficulty, and I really enjoyed that because that game really worked with the difficulty level because it's all about sneaking around. So the way they ramp up the difficulty is there's more patrols and things, so it doesn't alter the core mechanic, but it's a lot of fun. And so I quite enjoyed the challenge of it because it made it more difficult to get into a good position to, assassinate your target. And it's just a lot of fun, like as a challenging game.
I'll say racing games. I mean, I always play racing games in normal. Some games don't have, like Need for Speed Unbound doesn't have a difficulty setting, so Gran Turismo does. But I mean, Gran Turismo, I'm still cool with just playing normal. And
So how does the difficulty setting work for racing games? Does it become more of an immersive?
I think it's just the AI
The
is just
AI
more
doesn't
aggressive.
make any mistakes.
Just makes less mistakes. Yeah, it's just more aggressive. But but I mean, I love
that's
Gran
all I can think
Turismo.
of.
I love Need for Speed. So those games, I mean, I'm the race car guy here, so like I play a lot of those games. So
I buy a race car game every once in a while. The GT7 is going to be the one because I haven't bought a GT since 5? 5 was the last one I bought. So 7, I'm ready for it. VR, of course, is the way I'm mostly going to play it.
I kind of
But,
like how Destiny and all these kind of open, like Division or Outriders, like I'm playing Outriders right now. I like the idea like you can just play it normal and you kind of fuck around and you kill things, but then if you want to go back and get better loot,
yeah,
you get a reason to up it. Like
playing
playing
Destiny 2
difficult,
is really good at that right
playing
now.
difficult on other like Batman or God of War, you're not getting better loot for that shit. You're just doing it because it's harder. But the idea of like then upping the game to get better loot, I like that. So like I always liked, Destiny for that. I always
Destiny's newest expansion
Division,
has a more challenging legendary mode.
Yeah.
And they also have
but it's always been that. There's always had that. Even the OG Destiny, just like those ideas that like, hey man, if you up the difficulty, we'll give you better loot. And that's always been something that's like
you get the purple instead of the blue.
Yeah,
that gives you a reason to do it. Like unlike
it gives you a reason to get good at it and repeat it.
Right.
And,
right.
Like not just.
So that's another difficulty thing that I've always appreciated but disliked. I'm not
I also find that much more acceptable. Like the games we're mentioning, like they're not story driven. I don't think difficulty makes a lot of sense necessarily in a heavily story driven game versus a Sniper Elite has a basic story attached to it, but it's not that's not the point of the game. That's not why you play the game for the
Mhm.
story. You play the game for the mechanics, and same with Gran Turismo and those games. You play them for the challenge and not for the story.
Yeah. I mean, what if you have the difficulty higher on Gran Turismo, do you get a better like reward, like money wise, or is it just to be satisfied
You just have
that
you
you're a
just,
really
no.
good racer? Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that shit too? It's like, so the funny thing about harder difficulty is like it takes away driver aids. So like I play kind of a combo where I take away certain driver aids, but then not all driver aids. So like I don't like the racing line because I know the racing line as a race car guy who's raced a lot. I don't need the racing like line, but that's like a big thing that people like. They like to see the blue and then it's like
Yeah, you
yellow and
should.
then it's red.
Like it because I don't know the tracks as well as
But
you.
I don't
You've
need
played
that.
Gran Turismo like
I
every
hate that shit.
rendition,
I
and they
hate that
have
shit.
all the original tracks.
It's also fucking fake as fuck. Like that's not real life. I don't
No.
want that. So I take it off all the time. So that instantly makes my car more difficult. So
Yeah.
like then a lot of my shit I have to like decide like it's like brakes and like all that kind of shit. And it's just like, well, I don't really know, having not ever really raced these tracks in a car that has assisted brakes or not. Like I don't know what is or what isn't. So like I just kind of leave that shit alone because
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck with it. Like, come on, you're telling me that like a really nice car doesn't have assisted brakes while you're going through this turn? It's like it probably does. I don't know. So like I don't know. So there's certain driver aids I turn off completely. So like I feel like I'm in like a normal to high, but I don't know.
Well, race online, dude.
Yeah, well, I've raced online, but then that's a leg. That's all about legging, so that doesn't matter. But anyway, no. So yeah, I hate the racing line.
All right.
I get rid of it.
All right. So I'm done talking about difficult games. I don't have any other topics. on
Nothing
that.
else
We
to
can,
talk about difficult games? What?
Well, we've kind of ran through.
All right.
We've kind of ran through, unless you have other questions, of course.
Well, I think the other thing we didn't really quite hit is accessibility, and so like for our disabled gamers, like they want, they want to be able to play Elden Ring with like lower difficulty, and I get that, and I don't think that's something they shouldn't have. But like, Elden Ring doesn't want to do easy mode,
Yeah.
But I feel
Yeah,
like,
but-
hey, disabled gamers, you guys can play this game. Like, I know you guys want the lower difficulty. What I'm telling you as a guy who hates these games, I'm telling you that you guys can play these games. Just grind it out. Grind it out. Grind it out. As you get more powerful, you will see that you can be as powerful as everyone else. I mean, I spent so much time. I know I'm using Elden Ring in this case scenario, but I'm just saying for all our disabled gamers, at a certain point, you're gonna get so much more OP that then you'll realize that you can move on from a point. And that's how I did as just a shitty gamer, because I'm a shitty gamer. I had to become more OP. And you guys are probably better gamers than I am. And I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to empower you. I don't think these From Software games need a difficulty setting. They just need you to focus and play.
Not every game does need the difficulty setting. I mean,
it's just an opinion, but I feel like you guys can do it. Just focus and keep doing it. But if From Software, I get it. I mean, you want them to be easier, but I don't. Now that I've played Elden Ring, I don't need them to be easier.
So I just had a thought about like difficulty settings and stuff like that. Like if they want to be part of like the ongoing conversation, that could be challenging. But as time progresses, there's going to be mods and changes on PC. So as a console gamer, like disabled gamers and stuff like that, could have a harder time on consoles than on PCs because as time goes
Oh,
by,
sure.
there's people that are modifying
Yeah.
these to make it easier
I mean,
and
if I could
more
put big titties,
customizable
if I could put big
controls and all that
titties,
stuff.
we could slow them down. Yeah.
So yeah, like PC gaming has to be like the ultimate like
Let's talk more about big
boon
titties.
for handicapped gamers, but not all of those can afford a PC. Like PC, like just starting out is expensive,
You know, it's funny
and a
though. I mean,
console is like the easy in for gaming.
yeah, but some of that Bethesda stuff, like none of these people are gonna play Fallout 4 or Skyrim again on Xbox. But if they did, they could get mods
There
to
are
make it
mods,
easier.
yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, from a small pool, but they exist.
but
But yeah, that's just a thought about that. I mean, I think anybody should be able to play a game how they want, and difficulty settings to just add more time to dev time, and not all companies can afford that extra time. But it would be nice if that was just a standard feature, just like, hey, I need this type of accessibility.
cool.
Please let it happen.
All right. Well, let's move
And
on.
I know.
Oh,
Well, I was just gonna say, you guys said nobody's gonna play Fallout or anything like that, but the one nice thing is that Fallout across all platforms, or Fallout 4 anyway, you can.
It's so boring, no one will play it.
Well, that too, but you can mod it on each of the three systems. Well,
Yeah,
kind of.
Xbox, PS4, and definitely on PC. But I mean, it's just nice. I mean, if
PS4
they
has
need
the
to do that
most
for-
limited, and then Xbox has a
I
little
know.
bit more.
Well,
And then all the great mods are on PC, baby. You want some titties?
Titties is what you mean.
right,
Ian's
but
he's winking right now. He's going wink, wink. Yeah, there we go.
right. But I mean, the point is, it's like
I'm
in
just
the
gonna wink
future.
constantly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it
Well, let's
doesn't.
just turn off his camera, guys. All right.
It doesn't have to be Fallout, and it doesn't have to be super limited. But perhaps in the future, all games can have some sort of difficulty mod if the original developers didn't include it, to where
Maybe in the future they'll all have big titty
yeah.
mods too.
maybe yeah, and they'll be labeled Ian mods.
That's right. All right, let's move on to couch co-optionals. This is the segment of the show where we recommend something that's not video game related. It can be anything else. Booze, drugs, food, TV shows, movies, music, a fucking car. I don't care. You can record. You can like tell us anything you want. You want to recommend. It just can't be a video game in couch co-optionals. A book, Jared, perhaps. Jared, what do you got going on?
Well, I guess the most recent show I watched, everybody's probably thought about watching, but maybe not has watched it, is Mandalorian season 3. It started on March 1st. It's a thing. Like the
Oh,
rest of the
no.
series, it starts out and eventually it gets there.
Eventually it gets there.
That's such a riveting.
What a riveting recommendation
Well,
by.
no,
Yes.
because like I like the Mandalorian, but like all the seasons are like they have short episodes, so they could really summarize the whole show in like maybe an hour and a half, and it would be great. But it goes on for many episodes, and it's a show instead of a movie.
Cool.
But it's a thing. Not much happened in the first episode, but eventually it's gonna get there.
Cool.
It's a Jared show. Not much happens.
well, no. The greatest part about it is it's only 37 minutes. That first episode, 37 minutes is fucking great. I think shows should be shorter. It's so much easier for like me to consume,
All right.
and I like that. I do. Once a week, not boom. Here's a dump of all the episodes. Feel like binging? Cool.
Cool.
Like I can't do that. I can't be part of that culture. So I like that release once a week, 37 minutes. That's very manageable.
Let me read Stellar's couch co-option really quick. My couch co-optional is not dead yet on CBS and Hulu. It's a comedic version of Sixth Sense, where a obituary writer sees a dead person they're supposed to write about, but they don't go away until they write about them. Kind of like New Girl meets Sixth Sense. So that's Aaron's choice. Not dead yet on CBS.
Huh. That's like cable and stuff.
That's like regular TV, Aaron. Jared, what are you talking about?
On Hulu. Okay.
Well, CBS. It's on CBS and Hulu. But like
Okay.
CBS.
Okay, Hulu.
Nick DeWin, what is your couch co-optional?
Since I've probably already plugged stuff that I'm watching now, I don't think I've ever plugged this particular guy. He's also a podcaster, Conrad Thompson. He has just kind of a litany of professional wrestling podcasts that he does. Something to Wrestle With, 83 Weeks. He does these shows with like various professional wrestling legends, and they're all great. I've been listening to him for a few years now, so just find one with your favorite professional wrestling legend of the day. He pretty much does them with
Jared and I watched some wrestling last night. We were watching the documentary of Mankind versus Undertaker.
Undertaker.
We were
gets
watching
slammed
that
out of the
documentary, and
thumbtack.
that's like, I mean, wrestling's never going to be better than that. I mean, these guys gave it their all. Like, wrestling nowadays is so pussy. These guys were like, I mean, this is real
Bleeding
blood,
all over
real
the place
aggressive,
and,
real
yeah,
like just
fucking-
dedication.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Fucking crazy.
that
And
was some
you know
crazy
what?
shit.
Conrad actually does. I mean, I don't actually listen to this one, but he does one with Mick Foley. So I mean,
Oh,
I'm
Mick
sure
Foley,
they
dude.
talk about. No, Mick Foley. He's a legit dude.
He's
I mean,
legit.
He's super.
Not only
good,
that, but
yeah.
he's super chill.
He-
He's super nice guy, super cool.
No, the guy is awesome. And his books are great too.
There'll never be another wrestler like Mick Foley. And that
But-
Mankind, like that whole fight in the cage where he's dropping him
where
on
he
the
gets-
tacks
Yeah, the Hell in the
and the
Cell
blood,
all
and it's
that.
just like,
Wasn't that late 90s, early thousands, or
Yeah,
something like that?
something like that.
I
That
think
was
it
a
was
long time ago.
98. But
Yeah.
also there's
there's never gonna be
all-
someone like that, right, Nick? I mean, you're a wrestling guy. Come on, let's be honest. No one's ever been as
No,
good as that.
he's. I mean, he's different, but at the same point,
Different
he's
cloth.
also kind
Cut
of,
from a different cloth, John.
and he's also kind of a guy you want to learn from as like stuff not to do,
Yeah.
because there's also a documentary.
No,
this
you want to
documentary
do it
about-
that way because that's how you become a
No,
legend. That's how you become
no,
a
no,
legend,
no.
Nick. That's how you become a legend. You're telling
well-
telling kids right now. You're telling kids right now how not to become a legend. This guy's a
Continue.
legend,
Destroy-
and you're telling them
Destroy your
right.
body and maybe get a pension and you're a
Exactly,
legend.
exactly. Listen to John.
Good luck.
Nick has
So-
no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah. How about
Just
we
real
let him
quick,
finish
there-
talking?
There was also another documentary that came out, probably 99, 2000, Barry Blaustein, Beyond the Mat, I believe it was. And he was one of the wrestlers that they kind of focused on. And there was, there was a point where they focused on like a match where he was in with, Ian's favorite, actor, Dwayne Johnson.
Fuck that guy. That's a guy. That guy's a fake wrestler. If
Nick,
there has
you
ever
had to
been a
start it
fake
out again.
wrestler in the world of wrestling, it's fucking
You had
Dwayne
to
the
do
Rock
it,
Johnson. That guy is the fucking worst wrestler.
But anyway, there's this scene where he takes like unprotected headshot or shots to the head.
Takes
from a
unprotected
chair.
shots to the head. He does fake steroids. He gets
No, 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 no,
does
no. Mick
fake.
Foley does.
He grabs a fake machine gun. He does fake unicorn shots. Go
You
ahead.
done?
Sorry, I'm apologize. I'm done.
Nick,
Yeah.
don't start it with him right now. It's not
I-
gonna work.
I know. No, I knew what I was doing, but if you watch that documentary, it's you see this pay-per-view event where
Thanks,
Mick
Jared.
Foley takes these unprotected shots to the head. He ends up getting like a serious gash in his head that requires stitches. I believe he's even concussed because he kind of forgets where he's at.
Well, because it's
But-
fake.
Right, it's fake. But the beauty of the documentary is the people making the documentary actually sit down and show Mick Foley all this video, and then they also show his wife and his kids' reaction to it too. And it's kind of a moment where he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't realize how much it was affecting them too." And just seeing like his kids were like legitimately upset because, I mean, on some level they also know it's a work, but at some point when they see their dad like his head split open and he's bleeding all over the place, I mean you can't really.
I mean, Nick is more excited about talking about this than fucking video games, guys.
Nick,
Well,
what was
I mean,
the actual name of your couch co-optional? I've got lost in translation.
Yeah,
here.
what do you really want to? What are you recommending in this wrestling bullshit?
I'm basically just I'm just I mean it's just not.
Nick
not a
loves
particular
wrestling,
podcast.
guys. Just recommend
It was a
wrestling.
podcast.
AEW.
It's a wrestling podcast.
Hey, AEW has some hot fucking wrestler chicks. I'll be down with
Okay.
that.
All right.
I feel like
I mean,
WWE is kind of sold out at this point.
Eventually, but
You don't think AEW is better than WWE at this point? Or no? You don't think so?
just depends on what you're going for.
Hot, cool, aggressive versus lame,
Cool.
bored, shitty?
Storyline versus I don't know.
No, none of those storylines care anymore. Fucking
like,
McMahon.
story-
Fucking
wrestling
McMahon.
promotion
You know what? I don't even
may be
follow this
cool
shit, and I
to one
feel
I
like
want.
McMahon is a fucking douchebag. Anyway,
All right,
Sorry.
Dave.
Well,
Dave.
What's your couch co-optional?
Oh, a little podcast, the Witch Trials of J.K. Rowling. No, I'm actually not
seriously, are you
recommending-
seriously listening to this?
No.
Isn't that this
Just
show?
to see your reaction.
I don't give a shit.
You're
I
trying
don't-
to
I really don't give a
antagonize him,
shit.
I watched the first 3 episodes of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, and I really enjoyed that.
Oh, I'm interested.
Yeah,
If you want
that's a
like
fun
little kind of like hour long, 3/4 of an hour to an hour long kind of like horror stories, kind of reminded me of the like best standalone X-Files episodes, that kind of stuff, you know.
What service is that on?
I think it's on Netflix,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I've only watched the first 3, so I can't say anything. I can't say whether the other ones are good, but I really
Good
enjoyed.
start.
Yeah, good start. They're all not connected, so it's
Okay. Cool. Individual stories each episode.
yeah. Each episode's like a story, and it's they're like 3/4 of an hour to an hour long.
Okay. great.
JPK.
Yeah.
So I'm recommending the documentary Paris is Burning. It's a documentary that came out 1990 that documents late 80s drag queens living in New York City and forming houses. So if you've seen the series Pose, I think that's the name of the series. It was on FX, and it deals with drag queens during the AIDS epidemic living in New York and how they dealt with that. But the documentary was really interesting to watch. I always enjoy watching slice of life subcultures. One thing that stuck out to me is so they're pretty much like kind of running using a runway to either do themed costumes, but it's also a way for them to kind of get out their frustration because obviously they're ostracized by, I mean, straight white society at large. So it's a way for them to feel normal because like one of the competitions they have on the runways is like corporate financier. So it'll just be like these men dressed in suits so they can act like they can pass off as Wall Street investors. So it's kind of sad to watch because they're trying to be accepted into mainstream society, even though they know they will never be. And it's also kind of wild just to see because there's a lot of like homeless kids who were kicked out of their homes because of their sexual orientation. So they're just kind of running around loose, and some of these so-called houses will take them in and kind of help them out to get them off the streets. But there's like one scene where a transgender person gets killed, and then the house mother learns about it, and she's just kind of like, that's just how it is, unfortunately. So there's a real grittiness and how they accept that, unfortunately, because they can't get a job because of how they represent themselves, they have to turn to prostitution, and that usually deals with them dying, and they just have to. Their society at large just accepts it.
Cool.
But it's a great documentary. It's entertaining to watch, and it's just it gives a different side of something I wasn't ever exposed to.
Cool. All right. So you might have seen me laughing as John was talking, and while he was talking, I was just thinking in my head, I'm gonna recommend Pawn Stars. Literally, that's what my thought was because he's in Vegas, and that's an awful thing because like John had a really good choice. John, mention your choice again.
Paris is Burning.
All right, and that's on where?
It's a documentary on Netflix.
There you go. And I feel bad, so that's why we were. But like, for some reason, I was being a douche because I'm a douche, right, John?
You're my father.
Well, what's your couch co-optional?
What's my
Yeah.
couch? I mean, there's so many things I
You
want
already
to
said
do.
it. It's Pawn Stars.
So many, yeah, Pawn Stars.
He was just being a
Boom.
dick, though.
Yeah, no. I really don't know. I mean, part of
How about
me
a
wants to
band?
do this, part of me wants to do that.
How about the Chris Rock special?
I should do the Chris Rock special. You know what? Did we talk about that in the beginning? We did a little bit.
Yeah, sounds
a
like
little
it
bit.
made you.
Was that before the show started or after? It's
Yeah,
probably
that was
after the
a
show
pre-show.
started.
Pre-show.
I am gonna. Yeah, that's a good choice. Thank you, Nick, to win. I actually had something picked out before that, but I'm glad you regrounded me, Nick, to win. Yeah, I think the Chris Rock special on Netflix.
Made you love J.K. Rowling.
No, but it made me realize that
It lessened the hate in his heart for her.
No, I still hate her.
Gave
I
you
can
more
hate her.
self-reflection.
What he does though is kind of makes you realize that like if you're gonna do it, you have to do it on all fronts.
Hate the person, not the art.
You have to do it on all fronts, you know. So like I can still personally hate J.K. Rowling. I just don't need to bring it up to you guys. That's what that is. It's like
It's kind of like politics. If you hate corruption, you've got to hate it from your party as well as the other parties.
Exactly. But
You've got
if I seriously hate something and I
Yeah.
tell you about it, and then I like literally stand against that hate, then that's okay.
Yep.
Chris Rock is just saying like, hey, don't be a hypocrite about your shit. Like,
Yeah.
do you hate J.K. Rowling? Sure. But do you still buy shit off Amazon? You do. So it's like, well, I mean, one's still awful, and the other one's awful, but it's not really actually hurting people, whereas one is actually hurting people. So you have to like kind of like wrestle with the idea in your head that
Which hill do you want to die on?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
well, J.K. Rowling isn't. I mean, sure, J.K. Rowling is funding anti-trans rights laws or legislation in her country. That's what she does. She hates trans people, and she's trying to fund. I mean, the money you spend on her content, she uses to fund against,
Her political views.
legislation, against
Don't buy
trans
her.
people. But
Yeah.
at the same time, if I'm against, other things that are more, that's not really close to me. I don't live in the UK. I don't.
Chevron's done more damage than J.K. Rowling will ever do, and that's right in your backyard, Ian. That's right in my backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. These are awful. They're awful people.
Who's
has
worse, J.K.
but
Rowling or
at
Nestle?
at the same time, has Harry Potter helped a lot of underaged, young people learn to read? I cannot.
Got a lot
I
of people
cannot.
into reading.
I cannot take that away from that either. And has the video game development team done their best to separate themselves from that and
They have.
put a trans character in the game and they've tried to fight her opinion. She
think that
doesn't
dev team
she
deserves to be
ultimately doesn't
supported.
have a lot to say with what they do. Sure, she makes money off of it, and that's disgusting. And she takes that money and she spends it however she spends it in a very awful way against trans people but the developers have tried their hardest to be inclusive. So that game itself, the game in itself doesn't hate trans people. They've gone out of their way to make that game not. So you shouldn't, and people shouldn't. Here's the thing.
Boy, and we thought my couch co-op.
No. That game is let people play that game and then don't hate on people if they're playing that game. Because that game has nothing to do with how actually awful J.K. Rowling is. You got to kind of reckon with it in the fact that, sure, she's making money off of it.
It's almost like you have to have a carbon footprint of hatred to really.
But the game
almost
itself,
like
the
life-
game itself
life
is
isn't
not
black and
designed. The
white.
game itself is not designed to hate people. The game itself has been designed to be inclusive. You can be inclusive. You can blah blah blah. If you can, it's just she's making money off of it, and if you can separate yourself from that, okay. If you can't, then okay. It's two different things. But I would agree. I would agree that she is a fucking asshole. 100%.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that some people are more prominent than others. Because if you go to a grocery store where the owner of or the person that started it was a complete.
But if you play that video game,
douche,
I'm not
the
going to
person
hate
that
on
owns
you.
The bank from the card that you use.
If you want to read that book, I'm not going to hate on
The store
you.
you bought from a newspaper from. Everything. If you have to research all these fucking companies to see how shitty most people
But if you are a fucking champion of J.K. Rowling, then suck a dick. Because that bitch is fucking abysmal.
Yeah.
But Jared makes a greater point in the fact that it's
All companies have some shitty fucking assholes that run them and started them. And who researches every
And
single
Nick DeWin
company
won't take
that
time
they're
off of that
involved
shitty
with?
company to come to my premiere. So who's the worst? The guy who follows it or the guy that's bullshit, man. Anyway.
Yeah.
Next week we got Bowie Cream Ale,
Yum.
Aaron Stell. I mean, it's probably mediocre at best because it's Bowie,
Well,
but
the one I did was the Pelican.
won't be hard to find, that's for sure.
Prohibition Cream Ale.
I mean, you can go to any store, any Safeway.
There's a bunch of cans at the bottom of the river, isn't there?
Under Fred Meyer, you'll
'cause
find a whole door of it.
Building was falling in the water.
The building, the canning warehouse fell into
That's
the
right.
river.
That was last year. Shit, that sucks. And we're laughing.
It's the worst brewery in Astoria, and somehow they anyway.
But
never
the
mind.
brewery itself is cool. They have like a plexiglass window
Is
you
it?
can stand
No,
on
that's
and
the
watch
brew
sea
pub.
lions. Yeah, the brew pub. Yeah,
Is that cool?
yeah, super super
is it
cool.
that cool?
My kids enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
All right.
So screw you.
All right.
Heard the food's good there too, but
Is it?
Yeah, I had.
Oh,
a good place there.
Aaron's always been. You know what? I feel like Aaron's been more positive about the food there than the beer. But that could be my observation.
I went there
Great.
once. I liked the beer and I liked the food.
All right, let's close out.
Yep.
Yeah,
I want to
please.
thank you all for listening and remind you to leave feedback at couchcoopshow@gmail.com or head over to anchor.fm/the Couch Co-op Show and leave us a voice message. It's super easy to do. There's a pretty good chance I'll play it on the air. I want to thank you all for joining me here on the couch. For Couch Co-op, I'm Ian. That's Jared. That's Nick. That's Dave. And that's John Patrick Kelly. JPK.
John Melon thighs.
8 p.m.
John Mellon thighs.
That's on youtube.com/milkmanpictures.
For Couch Club, I'm reminding you to please be excellent to each other.
Wild Stallions, biatch.
Couch Co-op.